You can give a poor person $1 million, and in a few years, they'll be poor again. Not because they're careless, not because they're stupid, because you didn't fix the thing that made them poor in the first place. You just delayed it. Poverty isn't a number in your bank account. It's a set of instructions running quietly in your head. Instructions you didn't write and never agreed to. And most people carrying them don't even know they're there. Think about the first time you got real money. Maybe it was a paycheck. Maybe a bonus. Maybe a gift. What did you feel? If you grew up around scarcity, you probably didn't feel excited. You felt nervous, like it wasn't really yours yet, like it could disappear any second. So you spent it fast, or you hid it, or you gave it away before it could be taken from you. Meanwhile, someone raised around financial ease looked at the same amount of money and thought, where should this go to grow? Same number. Two completely different nervous systems. That's not a coincidence. That's an inheritance. Here's a moment almost everyone from a poor household recognizes. You're a kid. You ask for something. New shoes, a toy, a trip with friends. And instead of a simple no, you get a whole performance of stress. Sighing. Silence. Maybe anger. Maybe guilt. You learn something in that moment that has nothing to do with shoes. You learn that wanting things is dangerous. That needing money makes people around you suffer. That your desires are a burden. So you stop asking. Not because you stopped wanting, but because wanting became painful. And that lesson doesn't stay in childhood. It rides with you into every job interview where you don't ask for more. Every price negotiation you avoid. Every opportunity you talk yourself out of before anyone else even says no. Here's what's actually happening underneath all of this. Your brain isn't built to calculate your finances logically. It's built to keep you safe based on patterns it learned early. Especially patterns from the first 10 to 12 years of your life, when your nervous system was still being wired. If money in your house meant tension, unpredictability, or fear, your brain didn't file that under finance. It filed it under danger. And your brain doesn't forget danger. It builds a whole defense system around it. That's why some people self-sabotage right when things start going well. A promotion appears, and suddenly they're late, or they pick a fight, or they quietly quit trying. It looks like bad luck. It's not luck. It's an old alarm going off, warning them that good things don't last. So why get comfortable? That's why some people can earn more but never feel like they have more. The number in the account changes. The internal sense of not enough doesn't. The mindset isn't a belief you consciously hold. It's a setting your body defaults to when it's unsure. There's a specific phrase that shows up in almost every household that struggles financially, generation after generation. We can't afford that. It sounds practical. But said enough times, it stops being a fact about money and becomes a fact about identity. A child doesn't hear, we don't have the funds for this specific item right now. A child hears, people like us don't get to have things. That sentence becomes a lens. And once it's a lens, it filters everything. Job opportunities look too big to reach for. Raises feel greedy to ask for. Success starts to feel suspicious, like it belongs to other kinds of people, not our kind. This is why financial literacy alone rarely fixes generational poverty. You can teach someone how a budget works in an afternoon. You cannot undo 20 years of people like us don't get to have things in an afternoon. The math was never the missing piece. The identity was. Here's the part that changes everything if you actually sit with it. Scarcity mindset isn't stupidity. It's not laziness. It's not a character flaw. It's an adaptation. If you grew up where resources really were unpredictable, hoarding, oversaving, distrust, or panic around money weren't irrational. They were the correct response to a dangerous environment. That mindset kept your family safe when things actually were unstable. The problem is, environments change faster than nervous systems do. You can move out of scarcity in your actual life. Better job, more stability, a totally different financial reality, and your body will still respond like the danger is coming. Because the software that runs your instincts is still running the old code in a body that now lives in a different world. This is the strange, uncomfortable truth about generational poverty. The very habits that helped one generation survive are often the exact habits that keep the next generation stuck. The parent who never spent, out of fear, taught the child to never invest, out of the same fear. The parent who avoided asking for more, to avoid conflict, raised a child who now avoids negotiating to avoid the same discomfort. Nobody handed down a curse. They handed down a survival strategy for a war that, for you, might already be over. You just haven't gotten the memo yet. And here's the part almost nobody says out loud. Some people who grow up financially secure never build resilience because they never had to. Some people who grow up in poverty build an incredible tolerance for hard work, for discomfort, for figuring things out with nothing. That's a real skill. That's not weakness. That's not something to be ashamed of. The problem was never the resilience. The problem is when resilience gets aimed at surviving small amounts of money, instead of ever being redirected toward building more of it. It's like someone training their whole life to run fast, but only ever running in place. All that ability. Wrong direction. The mindset isn't the enemy. The direction it's pointed in is what needs to change. And that's actually good news, if you think about it. You don't need to become a different person to change your financial life. You already have the discipline. You already have the ability to survive on very little, to work hard, to adapt. You just need to stop pointing all of that talent at staying safe and start pointing some of it at growing. So when you hear poverty is a mindset, don't hear it as an insult. Don't hear poor people, just think wrong. Hear it as this instead. Somewhere back in your family line, someone built a set of rules to survive a hard world. And those rules got passed to you, quietly, without a manual, disguised as normal life. You didn't choose them, but you're the first person in the chain who gets to actually look at them. And that's the whole difference between a mindset that was inherited and one that's finally, consciously chosen. The money was never really the problem. The story about the money was. And a story, unlike a number in a bank account, can be rewritten.